My next YouTube.
What?
For my next YouTube.
I think like America's Got Talent is like a good show, like everyone's.
I'm having stress dreams.
If she got kicked off now, who the hell's sitting around watching this?
Double RL and Buck Mason, but like more coastal.
So the light blue
Like
stuff.
fisherman themes. Americana.
You gonna text Alex yet?
Oh, you can text it. She posted on TikTok.
It was so good though.
Is there a reason why you want to rebrand though?
Because I hate the name Cutie Binks.
Okay, yeah, I don't say BinksJardin then, if that's, because that's then also related to the name of your business.
Cool. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Let's sit here because it's
Sit down.
soupy.
And that way I can look at you, Carrie Ann and Kelly. Tile related, TBD, hardwood floor, and then you have an alarm that's going to show up 30 minutes before. And you can make it a custom recurring, right? So you want to do your
Wow. That's some serious din-din. Too big. That kind of goes for all my clothes. They're all ill-fitting because I've never gotten rid of them. They're very old and I fluctuate weight. And I was opening the book and I just thought it was funny. This little self-portrait I drew in there. I feel like it really looks like me. Anyway, I think I'm gonna wear this. As to be expected, I changed my skirt and I put the other skirt in the giveaway pile and I'm making more edits. Okay, before we leave the house, I'm changing my shoes for two reasons. One, I don't need to be wearing heels. These aren't really heels, but for me they are, and I want to be able to zoom. I need a new carpet there. It doesn't really fit the bed. Anyway, whatever. Get away from me. I need these. Free feet, I don't give a fuck. These are a lot of my mom's old shoes. Hashtag vintage. Whoa. It's pretty demure. Whatever. I fear that my coffee will be sitting there wondering where I am. We are zooming out of the house and I have to take the trash out. He's so old. Come on, Betty. Get straight outside. Mommy's gotta go. I'm not mommy to him. This is a little house tour. My parents' house is still kind of under construction. Vibes, and leak. I'm at my grandma's resting home. Open. Yeah. I wanted to do a little talking video. Some things I wanted to talk about for longer that pertain to the vlog. The highlight of my week, I think, was probably the micro needling that I did. It's kind of gone now. I have peeling down here. I went in for acne scarring and the nurse practitioner said that I should do the micro needling with exosomes, which is like PRP stem cell sort of thing. I'm not entirely sure, but I just took her word for it. I suffered from horrific cystic acne when I was in high school, mostly on my cheeks, almost like entirely on my cheeks actually. When I was in middle school, I had the little bumps on my forehead. Those went away and I had about like 2 weeks of clear skin, and then I had a ton of chronic health issues. I had Lyme disease. I went on Bactrim, it's like a sulfa drug, and I got Steven Johnson's from that and had twitches for months. It was awful. I was sleeping a lot, had the joint and muscle pain. They thought I had autoimmune issues, and none of this was really resolved until I went to natural doctors and like natural medicine and stopped with like Western medicine. It makes sense because Western medicine is for profit, and it's given me this distrust of doctors that a lot of my friends think is absurd. I feel like I was kind of traumatized by that experience and by the revolving door. No one really knew what was going on. I started cleaning my skin with Dr. Bronner's, and it was the peppermint soap, and you know, cutting back on all of the different products, and capitalism tells you fix with this product and that product and the other thing, and really peeling back from that kind of helped me fix everything health-wise, skin-wise, and I was just left with the scarring. It was a really heartbreaking time. I didn't want to talk to anyone close to my face. I didn't want to be in sunlight. I didn't want to be in bright lighting. It was really, really hard, especially in high school. My freshman year is when it all kind of started. And it's the time where you're making new friends and first impressions, and it sucked. And I really leaned on my sense of humor and my goofy personality, and I became a little bit spastic. And it's like the more you move around, the less people will look at your skin. And it was hard. I had beautiful friends and the boys liked them, and I just focused on prioritizing friendships, and I think that made me a better friend. I was so down bad, I didn't even feel jealous. I just was like, they have the looks that will bring in the friends and the boys and the attention, and everything that I would get from the looks I could get through my friends. So I was really grateful for friends. I think otherwise I'd probably be jealous that they had the attention and the beautiful skin, but I really locked in on keeping a positive attitude in that way because I was feeling so much self-loathing, and I just wanted the best circumstances for myself possible, and I tried to look and see how I could get that. Now I get a little bit shy about meeting people for the first time who might not have known that I had acne, but you know, you can kind of see it with the scarring that something happened. There was tragedy there. And I don't want that anymore. It just makes me shy and embarrassed. It's definitely better. My friend pointed out that it improved since college. A friend of mine who I met after my acne healed. My scarring was pretty bad, but I was so excited to have clear skin without breakouts that I just didn't care as much about the scarring. And I had gotten Fraxel, I'd gotten microneedling, and I didn't really think it worked, so I was like, fuck it, whatever. Now that things have healed longer term, I think it's time. What happened with my best friend was she had porcelain skin. She's a college friend. She had porcelain skin the entire 4 years of college, and she got an IUD post-grad, and she got acne on her cheeks from the IUD, and they left scars. The acne's gone. She did the microneedling treatments with active acne, and as it went away, I think she did 3 treatments, she said. Her scarring is completely gone. She has a little bit of hyperpigmentation and redness, but the scarring is like flat, perfect. And that inspired me to go. I think when she was getting the microneedling done, I felt this kind of like guilt and insecurity, like I should be doing that, but for some reason I had this mental block. You don't see the full results until 3 months out, but the way I feel like I'm working on myself right now, especially because I'm in the suburbs and I'm having like downtime where I'm not seeing people all the time, I feel like I can have the peely red face and it doesn't really matter. And 3 months down the line, I might be wanting to see people and maybe we'll want to go on dates. I'm very avoidant with dates. I feel like the skin thing is part of it. It didn't hurt. Numbing cream works. And it was like itchy the night of and a little red, but it was fine. I think if you do happen to see people, it's not a big deal. My brother's girlfriend was like, "You're so tan." I'm like, no, I'm actually beaten and bruised. But yeah, I do endorse a clean diet. I endorse simplicity. I think that influences how I shop and how I consume. I am a big window shopper. I like to think that I refine my taste when I go window shopping. I can also go into stores that I wouldn't go into if I was actively shopping, so it gives me a better understanding of what's on the market and what quality looks like. When I'm home, I get a lot of benefit, like access to my mom's closet. With my room clean that I've been working on, it's been insane to like think about my identity and like all of the identities I've held before with my clothing, and to get rid of pieces of my identity and like reshape and to let go of. It's been an emotional upheaval. I've never been allowed to get rid of clothes, so getting rid of them and like imagining what will fill the blanks and like the money that goes into it, it's just been so much to deal with, honestly, like mentally, physically, because that's like a really heavy lift, all the fucking clothes that I've pulled out of my closet, and it's just a lot. It's a lot, and I want to talk more on that, but I can't because I'm not even done. And then I want to talk on friendship, but I am posting a blog next week talking about friendship, and it is also very vulnerable because I always had friends in every group. And I was just never comfortable social climbing, and I was always comfortable with my social standing and like who I am, and I always felt accepted. Maybe I wasn't in the coolest friend group. I've never been in the coolest friend group. My mom would always encourage me to pursue whatever friendship would link me to the most popular people. I've kind of alluded to my experience at Villanova. I grew up in a beach town, and it was very casual surf and skate culture. And then I went to a private Catholic school that wasn't super bougie by the standard that I entered at Villanova. And there was money there, but people weren't crazy with flashing logos and designer things. Mind you, I also had like a SpongeBob backpack as a joke in high school, back to the whole personality bit, and an Elmo backpack too. At Villanova, my friends taught me about different elements of like upper echelon culture. I learned about where people go in the summer. It's like I just didn't know these places existed. Maybe I was in my little bubble, but I learned about all of that. I learned about Van Cleef and Cartier and like all of the brands. And I went back to my mom and I was like, signifiers of wealth. And she was like, you didn't know about this? Like, what are we talking about? And it was funny because I grew up with and around money, but I just didn't really recognize or understand what that was and what that meant. I went to college and I'm like, oh my God, St. Bart's, like that is a big deal. And like Palm Beach, big deal. And I was learning all these things. My parents were just like, at Villanova, I kind of learned like, you need to care about these things. So my style kind of changed, or at least my perception of style changed. Because I was like, a Canada Goose patch on your jacket means you're rich. And blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, I didn't own these things. I asked for them for Christmas, and my mom was like, no. Went through Villanova. My friends were vacationing here and there, and I was learning about Rimowa luggage and like all of the things that I think now are more on TikTok and in mainstream media. But back then I was like, damn, there's a whole hidden world of like wealth and identifiers. And I was paying attention, and then I went manic. And in that period, I was trying to like level up on Instagram because I got into my sorority, Kappa Kappa Gamma, and it felt like it was the Kappa Kappa credit card reputation, and it felt like I needed to level up to be respected as an equal, and I wasn't, because these girls had been knowing that, and just like in the mix of it all, like, and I started posting better pictures with my friends. I started dressing a lot more preppy, which like Villanova was pretty preppy. In the Villanova community, there was like so little diversity at all of like personality, background, anything. So it did feel like we were a little bit more like counterculture in our little niche. So that was kind of my position. But the things that helped me, I wanted to touch on this, and I'm such a tangential speaker and writer, and I'm just a tangential thinker, but I started dressing better and putting myself together better and showcasing myself better on social media. I had the blue grid, Visco filter, whatever, and had the friend group, because the friend group protects you at Villanova, I think at any school. So I went manic for the first time on campus, had an episode of psychosis, and it was public, like everyone knew about it, and my friends stood by me. I know things were said behind my back by the larger student body. I'm not sure the exact back and forth between my friends and the people who were doubting my sanity, my reputation, like whether I was worth being friends with or having around, or like what were people gonna do when I came back, and maybe just like talking about the facts of the matter, like what happened exactly. And I had a roommate who wasn't in my close friend circle, so like she was also kind of a part of the conversation, and so it involved more people than myself. It always does. And this episode didn't completely take me out and blackball me from Villanova because I put myself together in these ways, and because my friends. People talked about me behind my back, don't get me wrong. Like, we know the way that the world works. And I was still at the frats, still invited to things, went to my formals, people were nice to my face, and that's all that mattered. Like, My experience continued to be relatively normal. I had another episode junior year, came back from that. Again, like relatively normal. I had been keeping up the image. I'd been like behaving like myself. That's again like relatively normal. I'm a pretty, I don't know, I beat to my own drum, and I put myself out there, and my sense of humor is out there. So I was able to come back from the episodes all of the times that they happened because I put myself in a position where it was clear that it was like a instance, not a way of like being. I went to the hospital each time I had an episode, so I felt like it didn't really change me as a person because I was properly medicated and like came back down to normal with medication. You have to find a balance. For me, that balance is lithium. So all that to say, kind of like lumping everything in the topic of like presentation, I started to understand how you present yourself and how you style yourself kind of influences how people will treat you. It's like how you want to be treated. Present yourself that way. I'm working on how I think about myself and my identity. And in ways like that, I kind of dress in costume sometimes because I want to fit into whatever neighborhood or restaurant I'm going to. And it also allows me to experiment and take more style risks because I'm not this super, super preppy type. And I have a lot of interests that I'm still learning about and a lot of communities and perspectives that I'm still picking and choosing what I want to adopt as my own. And it's been really fun for me to style myself based on these changes in my perception of the world and how I sit in the world. I feel like I'm honoring this creative, silly, unserious version of myself because I did get pretty serious with identity and perception in college. Like I'm glad that I had that experience to learn about upper class, like finance, waspy, preppy culture, but I'm not a wasp. So that's not how I was raised, and that's not how I will be in the world. If I stuck myself in the Villanova box long term and didn't branch out, there wouldn't be as much of a full life for me. And this has definitely been like a self-exploration. My family isn't really like this. My family is pretty Villanova coded. So it's been interesting in that way to adopt different ideas, pieces of my identity, and to carry the mental illness identity online. I've had my fair share of like awful experiences with that. Not everyone's gonna like me all the time, and sometimes the louder voices are gonna be the voices that hate me. I'll just leave it at that. I wanted to touch on the things that were banging around in my skull today and this week. I hope this was a fun listen. I'm gonna go hang out with my grandma. Ooh.